the baseline. Slapped away from behind. Ricky goes back to get it. Fires it cross court. Kemp's got it right up into the alley. Power slam! Tomahawk Sam! Yeah, baby!
An income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year here in Washington state is now a step away from being signed into law.
As the NBA gets closer to a major expansion decision, there are lingering concerns about whether Washington's tax climate could factor into a Sonics comeback.
Will warnings echoed through the state house reach the NBA's Board of Governors next week, influencing the Sonics' return?
I don't think it's like a dead deal or anything, but Silver, the head of the NBA, had concerns about...
State Representative Republican Jim Walsh is talking about a meeting between Governor Bob Ferguson and League Commissioner Adam Silver.
You know, most states have an income tax. And so football players still play in states where there is an income tax. But that said, I think what I would say is that from my standpoint...
And in that meeting, Silver brought up this proposal and just the general kind of tax environment of Washington state as concerns.
You know, and I think this is true for all of us who are working on this, by the way, is that we're trying to be thoughtful about what's the amount and who's paying it. What are the impacts of that? I had a meeting yesterday with folks in the business community to talk about that. So we're certainly aware of that. And so we're going to just have to try and structure this in a way that makes the most sense, that is the most fair to address the challenges we're facing. And I'll check more into that as well.
Turns out his office was very aware of that potential concern. But little did we know that Adam Silver's office had expressed already some serious concern with the tax climate and business climate in Seattle and Washington state as it pertains directly to the return of the Seattle SuperSonics.
Now kept going to the hoop. Wow. Now that is attacking the basket.
Does Seattle and Washington state lose the Sonics for a second time because of terrible policy makers in Olympia and Seattle? Does that happen a second time? We could be on the front end of this. We've got a new news article. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson to meet with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver again. So we had this first meeting pop up and it's like, hey, why is the governor talking with the NBA commissioner? If this was a done deal, there'd be no conversations being had. This would just be business as usual, right? Because this happens below the scenes. This happens. Yeah. Why do we have the governor involved? Because he's going to be signing that millionaire tax, right? Hasn't signed it yet. He's going to be signing that millionaire tax. And you got to have like 23 out of the 30, whatever. I think it's 23 out of 30 of the NBA owners have to vote. Yeah, we're going to give Seattle a franchise. We're going to give Nevada, Las Vegas a franchise. Las Vegas, I think they should get one. Seattle, hey, I'm as big a Sonics fan as anybody. I played as many clips of Shawn Kemp on here as anybody, right? I mean, I love Shawn Kemp. I love Gary Payton. Back in the day, I took my kids and my wife to a ton of Sonics games, and it was fantastic. You had to be in your seat for that tip-off because you didn't know what was going to happen if Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton were on the court, or Detlef Schrempf, or any of the other litany of just amazing players they had. I grew up in an era when I think I was 9 or 10 years old. I think I would have been 9. Seattle won the NBA championship. I mean, it was epic. You're a kid and you're going, oh, Seattle, Lenny Wilkins, Gus Williams. It was incredible. And then to have Seattle lose the Sonics to Oklahoma City, where I'm moving. You know what I mean? I told my brother, who lives in Dallas, that I'm going to find the biggest Shawn Kemp jersey I can and wear that to the Thunder games. I think that'd be funny. So we've got yet another meeting here between Bob Ferguson and Adam Silver. I mean, that doesn't exactly instill confidence, right? Is this thing going to go sideways? Let's check out this article and then we'll look at a couple more. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson's office announced he'll meet with NBA Commissioner Adam Silver again on Monday, just before league owners meet to discuss NBA expansion. Spokesperson said it'll be a virtual meeting. Last Friday, Ferguson spoke at the Seattle Sports Star of the Year Awards and told the crowd how he wanted to bring back the Sonics to Seattle and make it the sports story of this year. Is that going to happen? Well, I mean, you got to remember, this isn't just about Seattle saying, hey, yeah, bring the Sonics back. We really want the Sonics. You have to convince the other owners that this makes sense with their ownership in a league with 30 teams. Now you're going to do 2 more. That means you got to take one team from the Western Conference and probably move them to the Eastern Conference to level things out. So you got to move things around, and then you got a draft that'll happen. Some good players will be taken from other teams. And then you've got a situation where do other owners want to come in to Seattle and play? It's like the LA jock tax. We saw what that was with the Super Bowl. You're paying out almost more than your bonus just because you played in the state of California. So I think there's negotiations on that happening. Maybe there's some carve outs for NBA. I think the Sonics will come back to Washington, but if this blows it, that would serve Seattle and Washington State right. You know what I mean? Just like, we told you this is a moronic decision. And let's be honest, most of the people that are for this, they don't even know anything about basketball. Bob Ferguson, okay. So he went to Lenny Wilkins' camp, and he's a big fan. I am too. But I think the millionaire tax is absolutely brain dead. It's just, don't do it. Figure out a way to cut a bunch of your expenses. Don't be like we've got to, we've got to expand our budget, and we got to, increase our taxes. And now we need a millionaire's tax. Now we need a statewide payroll tax. And oh, good Lord, the Sonics aren't coming back. How'd that happen? Because Seattle lost the Sonics because they went back a new arena. We already done a couple of other arenas. Seattle's kind of a fair weather sports. We talk about the Seahawks. Seahawks sucked for years and years and years. Ken Behring was going to move the Seahawks out. Maybe the Seahawks get bought and they get moved anyway, right? Maybe the Trailblazers would get bought and get moved out. Who knows, right? Because those are on the auction block. Governor met with Silver via Zoom last month in what was characterized as an introductory call by both men. Is that normal? Do you normally call the governor as a millionaire tax is going down? I don't know. These are all uncharted waters because just the buffoonery in Washington State by our leadership, and specifically by Seattle, is unprecedented. It's unprecedented. It is just, you guys can't really work this out. And in reality, this would be one of those things where actions have consequences. Oh, you threw in a statewide millionaire tax? Okay, no Sonics for you. We're going to award that team to who doesn't have a millionaire tax. Because I don't know if you've seen the salaries on these players now. It is mind-blowing. I don't know if you've seen the money that these college kids make now. It is insanity. You've got like 7th-year seniors, 25-year-old guys with wives and baby mamas in the stands and a bunch of kids, and they're still playing college basketball or whatever, right? So Governor met with Silver. That was before the end of the legislative session, which was completed with lawmakers approving a millionaire tax that includes a 9.9% income tax on high earners. That's basically going to be every single NBA player, right? I mean, what's the minimum league salary? I don't even know. I don't even care, right? It's like Seattle loses the Sonics. Oh, podcast the heck out of that. That would serve Seattle right. It'd be like, that's what you get, bunch of morons. Ferguson has signaled that he will sign the bill, but has not physically done so yet. Okay. Wasn't immediately clear why this virtual meeting was called. Yeah. Why is it? That's why we're doing this podcast. Although the timing is not lost on anyone in advance of a board meeting in which owners are expected to vote to approve the start of an expansion process. Okay. Let's check through a couple more here. Here's NBA. Let's go with this one. NBA set to vote soon on exploring Seattle expansion, ESPN says. This was a couple of days ago, right? NBA will vote next week at its Board of Governors meeting to explore adding expansion teams in Seattle and Las Vegas. Potential new teams could play as soon as the 2028-29 season. And when does the millionaire tax start to drive in revenue? 2029, I believe. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said that during this year's All-Star game in February, the hope is that a framework for moving forward on expansion will come from the March meeting. Silver said the goal coming out of the meeting will be to go out into the marketplace, get an idea what ownership groups might be interested in bringing expansion teams to their respective cities. Well, now you got owners going, hey, our players are going to get taxed or, dealing with another high tax deal. Do we want to deal with that? Does this make sense? From a business standpoint, does this make sense? Can Seattle compete with other big sports cities? The standard cities that are thrown out with really high income taxes and really high income taxes on high wage earners is New York City and Los Angeles. Those are always thrown out as, but they have football teams. And yes, they do. And then they have basketball teams, right? They've got pro sports. But it's a matter of, in this given present moment, do the other NBA owners, do they want to deal with Seattle? Do they want to deal with coming to the West Coast? We're the farthest away besides Vancouver to go play. Do they want to deal with this given the tax environment, given the business outlook for running? And the Sonics would be a business like anything else. Can they make money here? Not only for their players, but for the team. Does it make sense? We've got the arena, which is 𝗪𝗏𝗘𝗠𝗦𝗢𝗏 Arena. Who wants to deal with that name? I hope that gets renamed at some point. That's the dumbest name ever. Like climate pledge, virtue signaling. We virtue signal here in Seattle. We're so virtuous that we put it on an arena, right? What are you doing? What a bunch of morons. But ESPN reported the March meeting will mark the first of multiple critical steps towards the expansion. So you're going to be expanding the league to 32 teams. Both require 23 of 30 governors to vote in favor. Okay. All right. How's that going to go for Seattle? I mean, this is not a positive. Millionaires tax, Washington State, not a positive at all, right? Just not. And then Seattle Times rings in. Is there anything else here? This will be the second conversation with Ferguson and Silver after the pair met virtually in early February in what was characterized as an introductory meeting, but it was a meeting that kind of just got thrown on the books last minute. And that makes me think, and with Washington State politicians basically saying, hey, there's some concern here. We've got concerns. So is this current meeting that's going to be happening here shortly? Or are there major hiccups to the Sonics coming to back to Seattle, back to Washington? Would not surprise me at all. Are the Sonics in jeopardy? Don't really know at this point in time because it is not a done deal. And when you monkey it up with what Washington State Dems, why couldn't you have waited until this was through before you come up with your stupid millionaire tax? Why couldn't you wait? Well, you don't care about sports. You're unathletic. Most Democrats are just unathletic. I'm sorry. It's the way it is. Republicans are alpha males. They're, you got some limousine liberals in there. You got some guys who are, professional stars that have been taught, hey, vote Democrat because we always vote Democrat because things are going so well in Democrat cities, Democrat states. Yeah, no. And then they carry that on into their professional career and they're like, and then they start looking at money issues and they're like, why am I a Democrat? Right? It's one of the first things when kids start making a little bit of money. Look at the policy in my Democrat-run city. Look at the policy in my state. This isn't working out. Is this not going to work out for Seattle? I hope for Seattle they get the Sonics. But you know what? It would serve Washington State for Seattle to not get the Sonics. Actions have consequences. This isn't that hard of a game to figure out. But you know what? Democrats, time and time and time again, do not make that correlation. And this would be a perfect example if Seattle didn't get the Sonics back, if they didn't get an expansion team. This would be the perfect example of, told you so. What did you think was going to happen, you bunch of morons? We need more progressive revenue. Great. Now you don't have the Sonics revenue at all because you don't have the Sonics. Nice going, morons. Does that happen? I hope not. And at the same time, I hope it does because it would be like lesson learned. You guys deserve this. You guys deserve this ass smacking because you're just any which way. I'm going to go watch the Sonics in Oklahoma City. That's what I'm going to do. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.